Hey, John here again. So this is a aluminum hand cart there, a little two-wheeler, and I don't know if you've seen this stuff. I've seen it advertised on wherever, YouTube or commercial. Little aluminum rods. Supposedly you can use a propane torch and weld aluminum. I'm going to see if this is actually. There's nothing wrong with this. It's pop riveted. These rungs here are pop riveted. They are loose. They kind of make noise now. And you know, the cart actually flexes sometimes with a heavier load. But so I just cleaned it up with just cleaned the aluminum up there because I know it's supposed to be clean. And I want to test this. First, I'm going to use I'm going to use MAP gas first. Yeah, I don't think that's going to work because you know, in this commercial I've seen, it was an aluminum rod like this, but they used a can, like a soda can. They popped the hole in the bottom. I don't know if you've ever seen that. And a guy welds it with this, with a propane torch, and supposedly it's stronger than the can itself. But I want to see if it'll actually work on some more heavy-duty aluminum. Well, so I'm going to start by heating this up. I don't know if how long it's going to take, so I'll just edit that part. But let me just start by soaking this with heat, and I have no idea. I'm just going to start touching. If it starts melting, just by touching it, then I think it'll be all right. But let's see. Well, it seemed there just at the end, I don't know if you saw it, it kind of sucked it in at the end there, so I'm going to let that cool. But it's like, how much of this, you know, do you have to use a whole bottle for one little seam? So I'm going to let that cool. It's still a little warm to the touch, but I can at least touch it. So I am actually now believing in this, at least for the time being. I haven't touched it yet. Let me get something in there. Before, let me zoom out here. This camera. Before, you know, this thing rattled. Now it doesn't. You know, it's solid. But I have not. It's just this one weld here. But if there's any, this stuff should be golden. And so I cannot see any crack in it, and I'm literally let me zoom this out. I don't know, I might have to believe in this crap here. Oop. Well, they're zoomed in. That you can't really see. It did suck it in just at the last second there. I was ready to pull that fire back just because I thought it was enough and it wouldn't do it. It sucked in like almost like soldering, you know, copper pipe. It just went, and I just thought it fell off the rung, but now I'm thinking it just. The temperature was right and it got sucked in. I let it cool. So let me go get a tool and try to beat this weld apart. Yeah. Alright, so far I'm just going to put like a pair of channel locks. I'm going to hit it with a hammer and chisel. See how she holds up. So if it breaks right away. First of all, this side is not even welded. It's still got the you know, the the rivet in there, but I just want to see if it flexes from this side. I can't even flex this side, and this, it was like, I don't know if you can see in the frame here, or up here maybe, this stuff was jiggly jiggly. You know, that one ain't too bad, but let me move this up a little bit. You see like this? It's originally how it was. So, let's see now if we get a little closer. I'm literally trying to break this weld. I can't get a good leverage on it. Should get a pair of bigger pliers. Oh. I don't think, no, these pliers just slip, but. Alright, so that's impressive right there. I don't want to get all crazy, but let's just see how long this will take. I didn't hit this with a grinder. I just basically stainless steel wire brush to get it hot. But you can see that rivet ain't got no shot. So this is getting hotter way quicker because I couldn't even get that rivet up there, which is steel up there too. That didn't get hot ever, cherry red like that. So I'm thinking this is probably plenty hot. Actually, might be too hot. Oh yeah. So it is hot for sure. So I'm going to start up here on this weld, get more of it up here. It's more of a weld in general. I'm kind of waiting for that to suck in, but you can see it wants to cool, but it's not exactly sucking in like the last time. I think it's plenty hot for sure. Try to get this top piece pretty hot. Yeah, it's still hot, for sure. I'm thinking that's enough aluminum in there. Yeah, I could smell it. I could smell it burn. It's probably... I just wish it would suck in like the last time. I guess I could try to force it in, but... Oh, there it goes. See that? That's weird. Like, almost has to get to a certain temperature. Something's going on there. Again, this is my first time playing with it, so I definitely got enough in there. So let's see. Let's let that cool. No way I'm touching that for a while. So with anything, it takes practice. But so I'm running out of gas, and I do want to get to this thick stuff. I don't even know if I have enough to do that because it was basically on zero. But so this is the original weld that I tried to knock apart. So I tried to heat it up, and I don't know if you can make that out. The actual aluminum started to melt the rail, and so I tried to hit it with stuff. I don't think it worked, but it's because it just, I have a feeling you're supposed, you got to do this and get it right the first time. Now this second weld over here, this is like my third attempt, and that looks like a better weld, but again, the top rail started deforming, but if you look really close, it's stuck to the side rung there, but that top rail, I don't think it had a good penetration because I can see a minute crack, but it's too hot to touch right now, so I'm going to let it cool and then see if I can twist that. That'll mean it is one of those things, just like welding. You got to pick, whatever one's thicker, heat that up more, favor the thicker part. They're not equal thicknesses in aluminum, so. But the bottom one, I got to tell you, and here's, I think, the ticket. Like I said, just like soldering, it sucked in there, and I heated this one up, and it is a waiting game. I don't know when exactly, what the temperatures are, but it did suck in too. Both of these. This one came out a little better because I put enough on there, but once it sucked in, I don't know if you can make that out. Once it sucked in, and that one, you could see there, it did start affecting, warping the top rail. But I believe that one sucked in, and this one definitely sucked in. And then, if you want to clean them welds up to make them look better, fine, but I'm going to try to break them apart. The reason I'm practicing on this because, this ain't, it's the only thing aluminum I have that I didn't mind, messing around with. I'm not going to go ahead and try to do a heat exchanger on my snowmobile, without practicing first, and I don't even know if I'll be able to do it, because this is going to take it's one of those things where it's going to take some practice to get used to. But before I turn this camera, I do want to heat this big thick ass shit here, and I'm just going to drop a whole rod in there and just wait, see if it sucks it up, add more heat. I might run out of heat, but we'll see what happens, because this bottom rung, again, I think it's too hot to touch, but I'll put some gloves on. This bottom rung, I think, is solid as, yeah, that ain't going nowhere. I don't think that weld's coming off of there. Yep, I think it did crack. It won't come off of here. I'm just bending. I don't know if you can make that out. I just bent that in, but as far as now that, yeah, see, I'm just bending. I don't know if you can make that out. I'm just making a hole in this piece here, not really. I'm definitely not breaking that weld. This one, it appears that it might have been broke, or it might be just the top piece there. I don't know. I don't know if you can see what I'm looking at here. But anyways, I'll zoom in a second. It might be just this top layer. I don't know. I'm trying to get underneath there. I don't know. It's definitely solid. And that's just the top. I didn't weld on the bottom. That's just a bead on the top, but I have a feeling, let me see if I can zoom in. Alright, I have a feeling that will work. And if you could see there, basically with a hammer and a chisel, I'm just bending the actual, the rung itself is just pushing in. But I believe them welds, they would hold up. I think that bottom piece is definitely holding up. This one here, I didn't allow it to suck in. Like I said, when I saw that start to warp the top rail, I just kind of let it be, and that is definitely stuck on the side rail, but I don't think it's penetrated. So that being said, does this stuff work? Yeah, I guess I got to say yes. You just have to practice with it for sure. But let me see if I can heat this sucker up before I run out of goddamn gas, and that'll be the telltale, because this is thick stuff, and I hope I got enough gas, at least just to do a little piece in the center, because there's a pretty big space there. So I'm thinking if I get the heat right, it won't just drip through. It'll absorb it and be a nice weld. But we'll see what happens. If something happens. See, with this excelling, it doesn't take much to heat it. So you're going to try to use mapping gas. You're going to go through a lot of it. It just doesn't get it hot enough, quick enough, This is thicker stuff. I didn't even leave it this long on the other one, and it started to warp the aluminum. Alright, yeah. It's kind of hard to do with his camera in a way, but so you definitely got to wait for this ain't hot enough. It ain't quite hot enough. I think the metal is just too thick for what I'm going to do. Plus trying to work one hand with a camera in the way. It's not really, see, I guess you could just, I'm probably not even in the frame. try to build it up and let it suck in, you know. Not too close to the hand. Feel the heat. So I'm just waiting for it to suck in, but unfortunately I don't know when that is. So try heating the outside, you know. I know that puddle's hot. Just wait for something to happen, I guess. Yeah, everything's starting to smoke. The wheels are probably melting. But it's definitely hot. Probably going to cool off for a month. I don't suspect that it's actually going to warp the yeah, that ain't gonna work. Not gonna work. Anyways, now we know it won't work on, I have to file that off, but yeah, you can hear it aching. It's so hot. So I think, you know, up here on these rungs is about as thick as you're gonna get. It did suck in, and I like this bottom rung. It did work on that one. Won't work on 1/4-inch steel, not with, you know, extreme patience and probably a bottle of gas, but because that'd be interesting. Because in my opinion, you know, when it comes to this thicker stuff, you know, you're gonna have to use like a TIG welder. If you got a MIG that has the wand for it, but like that's a TIG weld, you know, and you know, when it comes to this thickness of aluminum, I would say you'd still have to use a welder. However, it did work on that, I can assure you. I mean, I'm banging on it and it's just bending the aluminum, and the weld is holding. Up here, again, it's a learning curve, but I think once I learn how to, you know, at least with this thickness, it would go a lot quicker, because it was just an experiment for me. But definitely the 1/4-inch steel is not going to work, or steel, aluminum, not going to work. So if I had to summarize on this, you know, if this stuff worked or not, this is just a picture of, I just piled up basically a whole rod there on these two pieces of aluminum. I just got them butted together. It's about the thickness of a gutter, and I just piled up a whole stick, well, almost a whole stick, just to see what the integrity would be just on a butt joint. And so my overall impression of stuff, this stuff is cheap enough. I bought a whole tube of it for 20 bucks. So if you are going to repair like a hole in your gutter, for instance, you know, from a tree branch or something, you know, it might work. You'd have to, you know, if you want to get up on a ladder and do it from the inside, you could probably solve that hole, or you know, whatever. But as far as thick aluminum, not going to work. And you saw on the hand truck there, it did work. So I did play around with the stuff a little bit with that can. I don't know if you ever seen a YouTube video. A guy pokes a hole in the can, and then, you know, I couldn't get the heat right with that, even with a butane torch. So, you know, the thin, really thin aluminum, it was kind of a bust for me. The really thick aluminum was a bust for me as well. All right, I'm done playing. Maybe, you know, you should let it cool for a day. But so there's no doubt that, you know, it's bonding. I've got no question about that. You can see the aluminum was compromised here on the back. And this blob, I don't know if that got, you know, sucked in from underneath, or it's actual part of this stock. I don't know that. But you can see it's deformed there. It wasn't before. I don't know if you can see it or not. But so, you know, man, that just kind of ripped right off of there. But boy, I don't know. It's one of these things you have to make your own decision. I mean, if I don't know, if this was a gutter, you had a hole in it, you could probably repair it for sure. This is pretty much on there, you know, but I'm going to do the bend test again. I'm expecting it to break. If it just folds and doesn't break, you know, I put almost a whole stick on there, so, you know, actually it's way stouter than it was before. So I don't know if you can see the thickness there. It's blobbed up pretty good, so I guess technically it does work. So it's going to be one of those things, you know, if you're looking for a perfect weld, and, you know, but anyways, let me try to bend this. Yeah, see, that's way thicker, way stronger than it was. I can't bend it really. Yeah, that's way stronger than it was. So I guess you just got to pile it on there. I can't bend it now, so there's that. No way just banging on it is going to break it. And if I did both sides, it's probably going to hold up pretty good. I'll try to twist it. Yeah, it's definitely on there. So, kind of on the fence. There's a learning curve for sure. This is definitely bonded. There's no way that's coming out of there. I can't bend it, you know, so thick there. I can't bend it here. You could just feel it. There's no way you're going to bend it there. This is just a little bit of aluminum. You can, a little bit of pressure, you know, it bends, but not that seam. That seam is definitely not coming apart. So, I don't know. It was worth for me the 20 bucks to experiment with this. It's one of those things, you're going to have to toy with it and toil with it until you think you got it. I don't know. Make your own decision.